What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy. Welcome back to my vlog. And I'm sure most, if not all of us, have heard of the golden rule, right? The one that says, treat others the way you want to be treated. Whether or not you're a Christian, this is one of those kind of generally accepted moral and social standards that a lot of people find to be beneficial, or at least a lot of people attempt to live by in some way. But based on a lot of things that I've seen on the internet lately, especially on Facebook, it makes me wonder how many of us are actually trying to live up to this, though. Because I've seen plenty of Facebook posts lately that go something to the effect of, don't cross an ocean for someone that wouldn't cross a puddle for you. And essentially, while that does have some sort of validity, depending on how you interpret it, the point is, I feel like in some cases we've kind of flipped this golden rule thing on its head, and rather than treating others how we want to be treated, we decide we're just gonna treat them how they treat us, which isn't necessarily always a great way to go about living your life. First off, because people are going through all sorts of different things at different times in their lives. So just because they're having a bad day and treat you kind of poorly in one instance, that doesn't mean you should treat them like dirt the next time that you come across them. Then you're just doing it because of them being in a particular mood on one day, and they might even have felt sorry for what they did or whatever, but then you doing it back to them just kind of makes them either feel more guilty about it, or they'll feel like, okay, well, now I'm realizing this person's a jerk and whatever. Fine, I don't feel sorry for what I did because they're just doing this back to me. Yeah, when it comes to this whole thing, it seems like these types of posts are especially applied to relationships, and I'm inclined to say romantic relationships in particular. Although I can't say for sure. Context is very minimal in a lot of social media. If you think to yourself that you shouldn't put effort into a relationship, then the other person sees that you're not putting effort into a relationship. So then if they follow suit, they're not putting effort in because you're not putting in, because you thought they weren't putting effort in, and it just becomes this vicious cycle that never really ends. The only result of it then is that nobody puts any effort into anything. Treating others how they treat you, basically basing your relationships on a reciprocal kind of input, output, feedback situation. It's very capitalistic. It's a very almost greedy way to see relationships. And relationships based off of greed definitely do not turn out well. I'm going to actually personally, for myself, pull up this one other Facebook post that I saw that runs kind of counter to all of that I thought was a great way to word my thoughts on this matter. So I'm actually pulling this up for myself right here to make sure I get the wording of it correctly. So it starts off with the whole don't cross oceans for people who wouldn't cross a puddle for you, but then it has that like X'd out and then underneath it's like, no, do it. Do cross oceans for people. Love people, all people. No conditions attached, no wondering whether or not you're worthy or they're worthy. Cross the oceans, climb mountains. Life and love isn't about what you gain, it's about what you give. And you see, that's the real kind of basis behind the whole golden rule, treating others how you want to be treated mentality. Because ultimately, the more that you give to other people, the more that you really get out of it. For me, whenever I'm helping people, whether or not they can actually give anything back to me, I just really enjoy helping people because I get like an emotional and spiritual type of joy and satisfaction that it's hard to put into words, and it's hard to really get it in any other way. Going back to the whole people not spending time with you or not putting effort into their relationships kind of thing. If I took that mentality, me being here in Texas and most of my friends and family being in Pennsylvania, like 1,500 miles away, they obviously cannot take time out of their day to physically spend time with me. Sure, we could Skype or message or that kind of stuff, but they know and I know that just because we're not spending a lot of time with each other, just because we're not in like constant communication, that doesn't mean that they don't care. It doesn't mean that I don't care. It's just that our life circumstances have separated us physically, and thus it is more difficult to put much time into those relationships. Treating your relationships as if it's all about who gives the most either results in what I described earlier, where nobody is putting any effort into the relationship at all, or it turns the thing into a giant game of one-upmanship, which I feel a lot of society, especially in America, is just based around now. If all we're doing is trying to see who's the best at whatever, then that means all we're really focused on is ourselves. Now, in all of this, I will say there are points in relationships where it's just too much. Like, you literally just can't, for lack of a better way to put it. You know, whether it's you are being abused or cheated on, or if somebody just treats you like dirt that you thought was a friend, there comes a certain point where, okay, you need to either tone it back a little bit or just not worry about that person so much, because ultimately there's only so much you can do. So I get that. And I'm not saying that this whole golden rule, treating others the way you want to be treated thing, means that you become a pushover. What I am saying it means is that you shouldn't give up on something too quickly. You shouldn't jump to conclusions about a person just based on one or two given experiences. If you have any more questions about it, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm going to try and put up that Facebook post that I just read and have that kind of as a screen capture image thing in this video or somewhere linked here. Anyway, feel free to like and share if you enjoyed this video, and if you think that this whole golden rule thing is actually the way that things should be. And yeah, otherwise, subscribe to my channel to see videos as I'm posting them. I've been kind of all over the place with other things that I've been posting. My vlogs have been pretty regular, but other types of videos I've been posting at all sorts of other times, other days, just based on what has been convenient and has worked well for me. So yeah, again, subscribe so you can see that stuff as I'm posting it. Otherwise, I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you next time. Later.